It should be a video. Probably. Yeah, little red light is on. Anyway, couple of things, kind of a different distraction. Mostly the electrical universe people, ThunderboltsProject. You know, I've gotten comments from people and they keep trying to defend this crap. And, you know, this latest video is just so bad. And then the Scientific League guy, you know, his whatever mission for Jesus. You know, and the Thunderbolts thing is more of this, you know, creationist crap. It's in the that dissident science group, the Chappelle organization's full of a bunch of religious kooks. You know, it's a kind of a real problem that, you know, people aren't straight up about this stuff. And you know, it's just a bunch of veiled purposes. And obviously people who are believers are fucking retarded. And so they're clearly anything they're going to talk about probably is garbage or shit or just overt lies, because you can't trust somebody that stupid, to be honest, frankly. I mean, it's so stupid, you know, to believe you've got a little floating god up there that's organized this slop. I mean, it's just so stupid. So anyway, so I'll do the Scientific League guy second, I guess, because there's probably more ThunderboltsProject people, and I'll probably title it something Thunderbolty. So anyway, they posted this video, Dr. Jerry Tennant healing the body's electrical circuitry. So he's some eye doctor. I guess I might as well open the video. You know, who was apparently a reasonably good eye surgeon in Texas. You know, advertisements, of course. You know, all good science must have ads on it. But anyway, I can't even stop the ad. Oh, it's so annoying. Yes, I know about ad block. I know. I want to see ads. I mean, I want to know what the world is selling and how bad it is. Probably selling a drug, which is interesting too, just in itself. So anyway, this is supposed to be about, I don't know, physics. And so here they are basically selling a guy who's, you know, this is just quackery. I mean, old style quackery. The guy basically admits to healings and whatnot with his stupid electrical devices. The whole theory is just nonsense. You know, claims that root canals
and that went into my note.
Cause cancer. So apparently it was a, you know, somewhat respected eye doctor. He apparently did some LASIK surgery on somebody and somehow ingested a bunch of viruses that the person had. I didn't know viruses would live on your eyes, but whatever, or in them. But anyway, I didn't know you could vaporize a virus and it would still infect you. And I don't know why you wouldn't be wearing a mask and all that crap. And no, well, anyway, so he blames, he says he got encephalitis or whatever it was from this virus thing, and he had these 3 viruses that infected him, and blah blah blah, and his life got all crappy. And then he heard about some Mexican doctor, and, you know, went down to Mexico and somehow whatever, and some woman cured her cancer by having her tooth pulled. So he had a tooth pulled that was infected, and the pus came flying out. I mean, stories that don't make any sense anyway. I mean, the odds of pulling an infected tooth, you know, to pull a tooth, you have to break it loose, you know. So, I mean, obviously, if it's infected, it's not going to, you know, it's not going to be a geyser when you pull it out. I mean, that's just silly. But anyway, and to shoot at the dentist pulling your tooth, I mean, that's just, yeah, sure. How come we don't have any videotape of that? But anyway, I mean, this is just so overtly, I mean, all unproven, all just a bunch of statements about how he can, you know, just sell in cures to desperate people. And, you know, this is the oldest dodge there is, you know, taking advantage of desperate people. And look at this, 795 thumbs up and 5 thumbs down for selling a quackery, you know. Just garbage medical cures. I can cure your cancer by pulling your fucking root canal tooth. I mean, just crap. You know, And because he uses some little gimmicky Chinese-made, piece of crap that measures the conductivity of your skin, going to do some healing. We'll shoot a little bit of a frequency and make your muscles twitch, and therefore we're going to cure you of your disease. Based on a bunch of old Chinese blueprints of what makes the body work. Electrocute your big toe and it'll fix your liver. Oh, sure. I mean, obviously, only creationists could come up with something this stupid, right? Because only a god would wire us that way. Certainly, evolution wouldn't bother doing that. Evolution wouldn't say, "Oh, you stubbed your toe. Oh, well, that means you're going to get cirrhosis of the liver because you stubbed your toe." Yep, that's the way it works. Now, there wouldn't be much, mechanical logic to that kind of crap. And I don't know how people keep defending this just grotesque. I mean, this is just outright, he's a quack. He's just selling crap. Completely unproven. No studies, no double blind anything. Getting people to think they got to drink whole milk, whole raw milk. Something that's been killing people. It kills people, raw milk. It's full of bacteria because cows are dirty. I mean, they just are. You ain't gonna fix that. And then to keep cows alive nowadays, you got to shoot them full of all kinds of crap that you probably don't want to go without pasteurizing. So, but just complete crap. And then he's selling something called frequency. And it's like some sort of crap that it's a bunch of ocean parasites. A bunch of plankton. And he makes some stupid argument like, oh, they're really tiny and they can swim right through your intestines and stuff. And yeah, they can't live in hydrochloric acid, so this is just stupid. I mean, how does it make minerals more absorbable to have them in the form of plankton? When all you're going to do is you take in the plankton, it all dies in your stomach, and it starts to fall apart because of the acid, and then you absorb the bits, the little pieces. How's that any different than taking a vitamin? Oh, that's right, it's no different at all. I mean, it's just such horse shit. There's no proof of any of this stuff, and this is stuff that's pretty provable, right? I mean, if you're going to sit there and argue that pasteurization is harmful to the quality of something, well, then why don't you just prove it? I mean, those are kind of studies you could do easily. But this whole, like I said, I mean, to get people hysterical, it's like bad enough they got people convinced that their teeth fillings are causing problems or something, poisoning their brain or some other bullshit. And now they got them worried about root canals or something. Or every time they had a crown done, that somehow they got to worry they're going to get cancer from their crown. I mean, it's just so fucking bad. Just great video. Thank you. Wishing you good health, heart. No, you're wishing people nothing. You're false hope. Just this is so disgusting. Thanks for saying not to have a root canal. That is great. I've had it, and I think my wife. So this guy's the example of somebody whose brain who's working well. I've had it, and I think my wife. What the fuck? He can't even type a frickin' simple 14 words, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, I got it right. 14 fucking words, and he can't even fucking type them right. And then this asshole is saying, yeah, oh, I found the answer. Fucking retards. Nice to admit, loss of appetite was one of my symptoms of my illness when I was hospitalized. Well, gee, yeah, when you're sick, you don't eat as much. Yeah, maybe that's true. Just get depressed a little, and it's a good way to lose weight. So yeah, all this stuff, danger of root canal. See, all these idiots will sit there and sell this nonsense, bogus idea, completely unproven, no correlation, no data proving any correlation between any disease or any ill health created by root canals. There's just zero evidence of this. And then now I'm a bunch of believers. And this is what? This is doing good physics. Is to basically go into business with a fucking crack, a charlatan bullshitter. Somehow he lost his career because he went all bogey. had some bad years, and then decided to just become a crook, plain and simple. I mean, even if if you came up with these things, right? If you figured out how you could cure cancer with voltage, would you be selling it to the world? I mean, would you really? Is that what a good Christian does, right? He's supposed to be some fucking Christian who wants to get the Bible back in schools, and is wants the Boy Scouts to kick all the gays and girlies out, and some other bullshit, right? And that's what a good Christian does. A good Jesus believer sells it to somebody. They don't sell, they don't just give people the cure. They don't tell them how to mix your own little batch of shit. No, you sell it to them for some preposterously overpriced amount of money. Not because you had to do a bunch of research and you had to do a bunch of work or you had to make a huge monetary investment to create a cure. This guy isn't making some kind of, cure. That took years of research in a laboratory with a bunch of people he had to hire. He's not some drug company that has some excuse for charging some kind of price. He's got no excuse. He just writes a bunch of babble about his own personal little bullshit story. And it's his own little bullshit story. Again, some anecdotal, well, I was on a plane with this nurse who went to Mexico to get her cancer cured by having her tooth pulled. What? And this is what the Thunderbolts Project thinks is good science. I mean, this is obvious quackery. It has every smell of just junk, garbage, the same crap again. It's been going on for fucking centuries. The snake oil salesman, and here they are, snake oil selling. And you can see it on the Thunderbolts icon. They got this fucking primitive art. It's a religious community. All right, get it, people. It's a fucking religion. All right, you're not part of something that's doing physics, that cares about finding the truth. They're looking to sell you a silly story about God and how Venus, God pushed Venus into the earth because he said, oh, the flood didn't work, so let me try shoving a whole planet at the earth and see if I can kill him that way. I mean, this is so fucking stupid. I mean, there's no, everybody's nuts, just all fucking nuts. This is so sad, pitiful. We live on a planet full of nuts, just reaching for any kind of bullshit, straw of bullshit to cling to. Look at this other icon they got, and more primitive art. The primitives knew what physics was. They knew how the universe worked. Right. 9 out of 10 of their kids died, but yeah, they knew what was going on. Pathetic. So I don't know, what is there to say? So go ahead, defend to me the Thunderbolts Project when they're in cahoots with a clear medical quackery. I mean, not a single claim proven with a single piece of data. That's good science. It's good science not to do any experiments, not to do any studies, not to in any way prove. Just anecdotal stories. That's all we need is a bunch of anecdotal stories, and that's good science. Because we know coincidences never happen. We know right things never happen for wrong reasons, and vice versa. We know that's not how the world really works, right? You don't have to actually study something to figure out whether a correlation is right or wrong. It happened once right in front of me, so that's all I need to know. Yeah. I mean, it's pathetic. Yeah, $7.95 to $5. Selling just snake oil. The guy's just selling snake oil to desperate people. And look at him. He's not even like, he couldn't stop himself from going bald with his freaking electricity, right? And looking just wrinkly and lame. Couldn't stop any of that with his electricity. Does he look like the paradigm of perfect health? No. Just amazing crap. Anyway, so yeah, just very depressing. Oh yeah, there's the cancer. So somehow this is a picture of the woman who had cancer. What she had was an infected tooth. That's what she had. We don't even know if that's the real picture. So it is just a bunch of crap about how root canals are the cause cancer, and some wacky crap about how I don't know. I don't even know what this was. This physics was so stupid. They say there's no such thing as the electron. The electron isn't doing all this kind of crap, but somehow they don't tell you what they think it really is doing. And somehow he believes that electrons are somehow vital to this whole process. Your pH, which is, again, the fact that there's a current difference between, you can get a voltage difference across a cell is because that's how the membrane works. Jesus. It's not all that complicated. I mean, your heart wouldn't beat if it wasn't for the fact that cells have an electrical potential. I mean, hardly, not even interesting in terms of, and to use it as an excuse for saying that somehow you can decide what is healthy and unhealthy and fix it with this simple solution. Oh, just so stupid. You just get electrocuted and that'll fix you right up. More electrons. That's all you need, some more electrons. It's really that stupid. It's that stupid. So, whatever. Alright, moving on to the other stupid bit. Alright, so this Scientific Lee guy is doing this, bold claims. Gravity is dead. You just don't know it yet. Well, I mean, obviously it isn't. And he's making some claim about, water is somehow tremendously magnetic or something. So again, another experiment for which, none of the logical things are done is if you're going to compare a magnet to a non-magnet, in a sense that you're saying the magnet's doing something special, well, then what you have to do is put something exactly like the magnet next to the magnet and see if they do the same thing. And just show how, look how different they are. It's not hard to do, right? So if it's not the surface tension, the effect, or if it's not the fact that, when you put a magnet in fluid, right, so you have deep water here and deep water on the other side, and then you have a little thin water on the surface. The thin water is much calmer because the only agitation it has are from the sides, right, where the deep water has all kinds of vibrations in it. So obviously right there you have a difference in the water and how it's going to look on its surface. Its surface is going to be different than the surface, where the water's deeper. Lots of things like that. And again, even to argue that somehow, I wouldn't find it amazing if if you were capable of getting a little bit of an effect from a magnet in water. But you got to know it can't be much of an effect, or then we'd have magnetic water pumps, and in different circumstances this would be taken advantage of, and it's not. I mean, the best you can do is have electrical, right? There's actually a video by some guy here, pretty good scientist type. Let's see if I can find it. I didn't think it was this long ago. It doesn't seem like it should be this far back. No, it really doesn't. I keep going back. Alright, let's go the other way. I really don't think it was that far back. So, sorry. My bad. I mean, I thought it was right here. It wasn't broccoli bullshit. But I guess he took the video down, maybe. That's all I can conclude. Well, anyway, he made a membrane thing, with electricity voltage across it, and moved the water based on putting electric current in the water. And the interesting thing was, the voltage wasn't producing a current, so you weren't using electricity. Essentially, you were just having the voltage in place, and essentially that caused the membrane piece, the filter, to create on its surface the ions that were necessary to create a little bit of a flow. There it is. Electroosmosis, pumping water with electricity. So it's applied science. So I mean, that's real science, okay? That's some kind of thing. You can see it, So that's the, and but if magnetism could do that kind of thing, then why wouldn't they just use a little magnetic filter, and maybe you could desalinize water and stuff, with a magnet. If water did this much of an effect from magnetism alone. Part of this effect is just the fact that you're putting water over a surface and there's water tension, and so why don't you find out what part of this is a magnet and what part isn't by having an object the same size as the magnet in the water next to it, and then you can see if the two behave fundamentally differently. But no. Junk science is so much more fun than the real thing. Something like that. But again, I don't see, even if water was a little bit magnetizable or a little affected by magnetism, I don't know how it would be affected the same way by both poles. That doesn't make much sense. But to me anyway, yeah, it doesn't make much sense. That would make it ferromagnetic. If you're going to be able to tell both poles, it would have to be ferromagnetic, and it's kind of hard. That's a reach to imagine that water's got iron in it. But anyway, or something like enough polarization in the atom. See, this is another image of it, where you had these two circles created, which is interesting. Like I said, if that's what it's really doing, if magnetism is actually capable of bending the water, then that's interesting. But it's hardly a replacement for this powerful force of gravity. You're not going to explain how there's this kind of magnetism happening that somehow we can't detect. How come the compass needle doesn't do what this is doing? How come the compass needle isn't as radically and as strongly affected by this force of gravity? It's not. So anyway, it's just a horrible. The world is stupid. And Bill Gates talking about black holes and dark matter, which is fine. This Canadian French guy. It's supposed to be another physicist guy. It'd be interesting to see how he defends dark matter, just because I just don't think they have any, the defense is going to be silly in the sense that they're not appreciating what galaxies are, which is fundamentally different than our solar system. Clearly they have spiral arms, they have all kinds of matter in clumps. To assume that it's going to have the same speed dynamics as orbits in a solar system is kind of a silly expectation, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. Very silly. So, and I would make I'd make my point that galaxies are obviously, in my opinion, falling apart, not bringing stuff together. There's nowhere to bring, you can't really bring suns in, because I don't think suns are created out there. Suns are created where there's pressure. So they're coming from the inside going out. They're not coming from the outside going in. I don't think there's any evidence that works that way. I think all the I think all the big clumps are towards the middle, towards the center, and it's the little suns on the outside. So, seems kind of obvious what's happening to me. But anyway, I don't have extensive knowledge on the life and times of galaxies, beyond knowing that the ones that are really old and far away are very small, but still got a lot of energy in them. So they're very much they're brighter than the big galaxies are, the quasars. So wouldn't it logically say, well, if it's small and then later on it's big, it sort of goes with the idea that it expands. Clearly. All right, and the fact that they're always made out of their stuff, and they're what's the word for that? Oh shit. I hate this vocabulary problem with age. There's a word for when there's two of them going around each other. Two things. Yeah, but I'm not remembering it. So anyway, but you know, it's all, you know, there's so little evidence. This whole black hole theory. It's, you know, I don't know why people find it so fascinating. It's so distant from our reality. I just don't know why people are so interested in the subjects that are so far away from being relevant to what's going to happen to the little creatures on planet Earth. So distant. Anyway. Alright, that's probably enough then. So, yeah, you Thunderbolts people should be ashamed of yourselves. I mean, this is just so bad. Again, just selling false hope to desperate people is just the slimiest business a human being can be in. I mean, it really is disgusting to capitalize for money on people's desperation. I mean, you can't get more morally or ethically bankrupt than that. Disgusting. May I be tortured forever, you know, the day I sell a cure for cancer to anybody. You know. Disgusting. 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 Commercial. Terrible. I really hate it, and now it's starting to get to the point where, yeah, maybe I'll start using ad block, you know, just because now they're playing 2 commercials, you know, it's really getting bad. So, you know, might be time. So anyway, till the next time. Shit, that's all you can say. Idiocracy is on the move. Yeah. It's winning. Unfortunately. I just happen to be here at the wrong time, you know, because, yeah, can't explain anything to idiots. You know, just waste of time, waste of breath. They're too stupid. Alright, so until the next time. For whatever reason, you know, I guess you have nothing. All I can do is rationally react to irrationality, but that's all, you know, you can do. Is say, stop doing that. That's dumb.